Hello and welcome to my beginner's guide for Let's Build a Zoo. I'm Icon and this video will guide you through the first steps of setting up your own zoo, and I'm going to explain what you need to know to get the ball rolling here. The game itself has a very nice way of introducing you to all the new features via tasks that you need to do, basically a quest-based tutorial. But I figured that there were a couple of things that left me guessing, and therefore I'll do my best to summarize all the things that you need to know to understand how everything works and have some fun with this one. So, when you start out with the game, your first task is to select the management office and learn about tasks. Your next task is building an enclosure. As you see here, this game does its best to guide you through its features from the get-go. So, building enclosures works like that. You go over here to the handy hammer icon, and then you see here your big building menu. There's a lot of categories which are all locked right now. We're building a grass enclosure. The game works like that. You get to select where the walls of the enclosure will run, and then you just connect them by left clicking. And here, once that icon goes like that, the enclosure is fit, and then you need to select where the door should be. The door is important because, that's where people can enter and leave that thing. And that's your first task. About enclosures, don't worry about their size or anything. You can always increase or decrease their size accordingly. Next task is to visit the world map and get your first pets from Australia. That's always a pair of bunnies. You pick those up, return to the zoo, select the enclosure, left click that, use that, and here already you can see space used 6 of 35. There is a pretty simple statement. The larger the enclosure, the more animals fit in. Okay, so now, as you can see, new tasks arise. I'm bound to open that zoo. Just click that button down here, and now the news bulletin is giving you the information, and that's where the game leaves you a little bit hanging, at least in my opinion. So the new animals will need all manner of different things. The pause can be triggered standardly by pressing 4, and the time settings are 1, 2, and 3. You can rebind that. I personally feel as if pausing the game should be definitely bound to space, at least in my feeling. For me, that was a absolute weird thing. Anywho, now our bunnies need a few things. As you can see here, they need water and enrichment, and that's not really given. So add objects, add water, and now select the basin of your choice and get in there. So you already see that blue circle here spreading from this item here. This is your water pump. Your water sources must be in the vicinity of that. Otherwise, there's not going to be water for your animal. So you can select that pump and move it without any costs. I'd strongly suggest you to move it somewhere where it is fitting for you. I like that middle spot. Okay, the animals also now need some enrichment. So it's at that. At the beginning, there's only a small ball available, and that's all we need for now. You can, of course, add more of those, just as you want to. Add also decorations to your own liking, and check out the park rating while I'm placing down decorations. Decorations make the park more beautiful, and that's what brings you better happiness among your customers. So once that happens, this is your main quest for research. I'd strongly suggest you to accept that, and then we get access to the research. So get back to the building menu, see that red dot leading you there, research hub. Just place it down, costs you a little bit of money, but the costs of research are part of the reward. So the first 14 days of research are for free. Here you get to hire your first person here. You can choose a salary for your researcher. Here's his stats. When you change the salary, you see the job satisfaction changes, and the better they are paid, the higher their politeness. So politeness is just important for your people to work good together. so don't pay them too bad. Also, unhappy workers are bad for your guests. Okay, we got now research going, and our next task is to research an item from the research hub. Perfect opportunity to explain to you how research in this game works. I love it. So research is happening on this grid here, and here we can select the technologies that we want to have. Enrichment packs, new enclosure, benches for the garden, trees for the zoo, trees for the zoo. You see here how many research points you got, and here you see who's producing research points and which speed. To unlock something, just hold down the left mouse button, and here you see the entire research grid. Here's the cool thing: whenever you unlock something, you see the neighboring squares. So we unlocked now access to the nursery and to the cotton candy booth. And this goes all the way down. There's a couple of things which you can already see from the get-go. So for example, warehouses and processor to get rid of animals, but that's only eligible if you are evil. In this game you can select whether to go evil or good, but more about that in a sec. Also here, these icons all depict some special rewards. If you want to find specific technologies, just click there and you see a highlighter where they can be found. By the way, this is right now the entire tech grid that this outline here. Pretty cool system. I really like what this does. If you're searching for something specific, you can use this tab here over there. I think it's pretty clear how to use it. Okay, now with that out of the way, let's get back to our business. The bunnies here seem to be quite happy for now, but our people here are not. So what you're going to need for your park next are some shops. Shops yield revenue. You just need money and, you know, put these up as you see it fit. Put these down where you see it fit. We're just going to use that. And you see here, facilities up +10. So the game does denote how many facilities you got. These stands here, they come with their own what's it called again? Employee, I'm sorry. To rotate the stuff, just press the right mouse button. They come with their own employee, and therefore you need to hire somebody. Also bringing in a salary. So these stands, they cost you money daily, whereas these vendors, they don't really cost you anything except for a little bit of upkeep. Speaking about which, you can manage each and every one of these shops. So you can put up the sell price here and adjust the recipe with bad and less bad chemicals here for the Coke. Caffeine for, well, you can already see what this does. And another tooltip here. I'm not explaining this too detailed because this game has management differences for pretty much every booth. Here you see at the snack vendor you can configure how much starch versus potato should be used, how much seasoning should be used, which will make people thirsty, which will thereas increase their thirst by them buying more drinks. You know the drill. The gift shop here has other specialties. Overall, I really like what this game does. For example, here you see you can maximize your profits by farming your own ingredients. So use the recycling center to produce plastic. It's way off the grid right now, but these booths and stands, they already tell you what you can expect in the future. And also down here you see how popular these things are, their stats in general, and other adjustments to increase the profits as you see it fit. There's a lot of options in this game, and I really like this. But for now, putting these down to begin with is just way to go. And when this exclamation mark shows up here, you have finished tasks. These tasks here are basically, well, little mini quests that are meant to guide you through the game. So your whole zoo business goes like that. People go in, people come via the bus, and the more people that want to come, the more buses you need. Later on, you can also unlock subway accesses. There's a lot of things that you can unlock and do in this game. For the sake of the hygiene of your park, there's also other facilities here. Well, this one we're going to talk about by the game itself already. So here go a couple of things. A water pump, if you need a new one, of course. A storeroom. That's why I didn't want to go for that. It's the next quest. Here, water pump, and most importantly, bins. Bins do offer your guests an opportunity to get rid of their junk. And as you see here, once you place one down, they also have a certain area of effect. So we're going to be happy with that for now. And speed the game back up. And now we're supposed to build a storeroom. The storeroom is the room where the animal food is going to be stored and where your animal keepers will feed the animals from. So without a storeroom, there's not going to be any food for your animals. Inside the storeroom, of course, you can see the food supplies for every animal. You can also quick order the food for all of your animals, and you can also change the diet of your animals. This, as you see here, there is a difference between satiation and nutrition. The green one here is satiation only. If you add in other stuff, that's, as you see here, nutrition values rise. And the higher quality the food, the more nutrition goes in. And you see here the costs of your program. You can also set these, you can also configure if these settings are going to be only for a pen or not, so you have a really high amount of control of what kind of food is going to be fed to your animals. Via the staff control here, you can also set your animal keeper to a certain zone. As you can here see, you just give them, you just adjust a certain pen to a certain animal keeper, so you can take care that certain pens definitely get their treatment. Otherwise, the animal handlers will try to do their job accordingly to their, as they see fit, basically. Okay, you can already see we're grinding up research points like crazy here, no biggie. And up here, we are seeing the amount of visitors. And this game, of course, doesn't only feature these, or doesn't only offer you these features. One of the biggest things in this game here is about animal breeding. So also check this out here. There's a nice log of hints and tips behind this book. Just want to showcase that if you ever want to know anything. No, the game is about getting new animals. And to get new animals, you go into the world map, and just you can see here, the London Zoo would offer me geese. But to get new geese, I need a different bunny. So the job goes like this. I need to breed a new type of bunny, so they'll trade that for the geese. Here you see the breeding table. The white bunnies have a chance of a new type of offspring, and that's exactly the kind of offspring the London Zoo wants. And if I have a new baby with these bunnies, I can fetch myself a new animal. Sydney Zoo has the same. They want a snake, and then they'd give me dingoes for that. And the list goes on and on. This is basically your progression ladder, because you are supposed to keep these animals happy, make them breed, and unlock new animals with that. The more animals you breed and the more animals you unlock, the more control you get over breeding, and there's a couple of crazy things that you can do in this game. Mixing and matching animals as you see fit is a later thing, but I just want to mention that right away, that you can do really crazy things with breeding. So to hire new staff, the game features a little bit of a strange, well, I don't want to call it strange, but yeah, I find the hiring menu a little bit strange. So when you want new staff, you click that gate here, And then you can hire people here by clicking that thing here. And up here you see there's the management area for people, and here's the recruitment area. To recruit somebody, you just click that button, and then you open the job, and then you just have to wait like 12 hours, and then you can hire these people. New appliance will come every day, well, every 12 or so hours. And this works like that for all manner of different staff types. At the beginning, right now, to not stress yourself out, the game shows me only one kind of job that I can hire, but later down the road, this is also how you hire new staff here in general. Now, overall, you also need to beauty up your zoo as much as possible to make your customers happier. When you click your customers, wait a sec. Oh, it's another customer. When you click your customers, you get a readout about what they want and what they think about that, about your zoo in general. So now you see there's still no applicant. And this is one your first quest where you can select whether you want to be evil or good. So overall in this game, this is your own choice, following own tech tree unlocks. So I'm rejecting to keep that puppy for myself, and now I have my first morality point. Like I already mentioned, I just want to show it one more time. The research here is sometimes locked behind morality points, so you can't unlock certain buildings if your morality is not high enough in a certain degree. Okay, we got our first applicant here, so it's just like that. You view that person. You can check out their details when you hire them, before you hire them, and then you can either fire them or keep them. Basically, that's that. These stats here, I haven't found yet that the work ethic will really change. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about that. So it's okay to be a little bit picky. We're closing the position now, and now we got our janitor here, as you see here. There's a couple of other jobs, and here you see that. There's a lot of depth to that game. We're really just scraping the surface, but you already have seen most of the features to control the game. Another thing that's worth mentioning, there's a animal shelter over here in Florida where you can just rescue animals from. You see what kind of habitat they want and what kind of pricing these people see, and you see that's all rabbit variants. So we can just rescue them, and then we'll get to place them into our enclosure. So let's talk about animals. When you click your animal there, we're also going to talk about park customers too, don't you worry. So animals, you see here, their overall condition, you see nutrition ain't that high. It's because the diet isn't too balanced. I've shown you how to change that. And here's your medical status. Once you have better buildings, you can also get in a medical report here, status of the enclosure, and informations about the species in general. Here's an interesting thing. Ideal living conditions tells you which kind of enclosure the animal wants, and how much territory they need, and how much separation space per animal. You got to read this like that. The bunnies need always a space of 4 grids, and every single extra bunny will need 1 extra space. Like, the separation space per animal is basically how much extra space per animal will be needed on top of the basic territory space. So 2 bunnies will need 6 units of space, 3 bunnies will need 7 units of space, 4 plus 3, and so on and so forth. Here you see also more variants of the rabbits species. And at the end, when you have all variants unlocked, you can use the genome and the CRISPR splicer, or you can have a lot of fun with that. Okay, beyond that, there's a ton of things that you can build. Restrooms for the people, there's a lot of descriptions there. Going into all the details at this point would be way too much. Another thing that's really worth mentioning is, where was it again? You can also pick up loans here, but only if you need to. I'd strongly suggest you to play in a way that you actually try to avoid loans as much as you can. Over here, you always see a little bit of a readout what your animals need, and also if there's anything to do in your zoo. When you keep finishing those tasks, you will unlock more and more features about the game, but the basic control remains the same. Every element in the game has its own controls here when you click them, where you can check out all manner of different things, checking out the stuff, their details and everything. And it's all pretty simple to control, and this game does a pretty good job at being easy to pick up, but being rather difficult to master because there's really a lot of detail going on. In its core, the gameplay is focused around your actions as a zookeeper, of course, the well-being of your animals, but also a lot about the variant breeding. So this game is as much of a zoo tycoon game as it is also a pet breeding game. That's really, really important. Okay, here a couple of things about your visitors. You see there are their stats, satiation, hydration, and restroom, and their happiness about the animals. Of course, the more animals your zoo has, the more variants your zoo has, the happier the people. Here you can get a pretty detailed readout about what the people want, how much money they got, and how much money they've already spent for what and where. Pretty useful and pretty important if you want to optimize your zoo, of course. Beyond that, keep your place pretty and clean, because, you know, people like a pretty zoo more than a unpretty zoo, and the rest is up to you. I mean, as you can see, there's a lot to discover, and the game is quite feature heavy. The more stuff you research, the more you will see. You can create your own power, you can grow your own food. There's really a lot of stuff going on, and that's why I personally really, really like this game. Look, when you look around there, this is all terrain that your zoo can buy along the way. And yeah, that's that. Here's a couple of last tips that I want to give you on your way with that game. Don't force yourself into doing these tasks if you feel as if you have something else to do first. There's nothing worse than diving into these tasks too crazily, because you can go bankrupt. If your costs over exceed your income, you will run bankrupt eventually. The game will introduce all the new features in a very, very player-friendly style, so overall, don't you worry too much about these. There's always going to be a pretty decent explanation about how stuff works out in the game. So I really haven't had too many issues with that, except for that one fair warning: grow with care. But that's something that is true for all of the tycoon games that I've played so far. And that's that. Let's Build a Zoo is a very easily understandable game, which is very complex in its depth, but very easy to pick up in the first place. The food allocation system here that I explained probably is one of the more complicated things that I've encountered so far, but once you've understood all the things that I've explained here, you will eventually understand all the other features of the game all by your own. Alright, thanks for your time and attention. Drop your comments down below. If you feel as if I have forgotten something very important for the game, ask away. And of course, if there's or not ask away, fill it in and ask away if there are questions. The language sometimes difficult. Leave a thumbs up on that video if you enjoyed, and of course consider subscribing to my channel. I do daily videos, and I'd be delighted to have you among my subscribers. All you need to do is click that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell, and that's that. If you are very interested now, you might also check out the description box down there. I have my Twitch channel linked there where I do daily videos. Streams, I mean. And of course, I also have a Discord channel that you can find there. And there's a lot of like-minded gamers, and I'd be very happy to find you there. Last but not least, there's also a couple of links for direct support of this channel. I'd be absolutely happy if you check them out, but don't you worry if you don't. Your time and attention is already helping a lot more than you might think. Have a wonderful time and enjoy gaming. See you soon. Bye-bye.